Well, for more, I'm joined now by our France 24 senior correspondent, Catherine Norris-Trent, who's standing by for us in Cotonou, Benin. Catherine, bring us up to date with the diplomatic developments today.
Hi there, Jenny. The coup leaders in Niger are digging in as this political crisis there keeps on simmering after the deadline given by ECOWAS on Sunday to reinstate the ousted President Mohamed Bazoum has passed. They have this Tuesday refused authorizations for a high-level ECOWAS delegation to travel from Nigeria to Niger, citing the public anger at the economic sanctions already imposed by ECOWAS and saying that given that anger, they did not feel that security conditions were in place to meet that delegation. So that attempt at dialogue by the regional West African bloc has been rebuffed. The leaders of ECOWAS are meeting in Abuja in Nigeria for an emergency summit this Thursday. We'll have to wait and see what their next move will be. But we've seen similar defiance from Niger's coup leaders. There was a visit overnight by the second-ranking U.S. diplomat, the Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland, who flew into Niger on a secret visit and met with some of the junta, although they didn't manage to meet with its leader, General Tiani. He refused to see her. She didn't get access either to the ousted President, Mohamed Bazoum, and she said she engaged in long and at times very difficult talks with Niger's military junta, those she met with, and they rejected any solutions that the United States had proposed to them, solutions, by the way, which we don't have details of at that stage. So this crisis is rumbling on. It seems at this stage that these attempts at dialogue by the US and by ECOWAS are appearing fruitless. But of course, they are going to continue talks between themselves, and no doubt behind the scenes, a flurry of diplomatic activity is continuing to work out the next strategy on this when it comes to Niger.
And Catherine, Benin, which is where you are, is one of the ECOWAS members and shares a border with Niger. Tell us a bit about the public opinion on the idea of military intervention so close to their country.
Well, it's really striking here in Benin that people we speak to seem very much opposed to the idea of a military intervention in their neighbouring country, a neighbour in which they've had a lot of trade and good terms. There are a lot of Nigerians living in Benin and there's a lot of trade, as I said. And usually Niger gets quite a lot of supplies through the port of Cotonou here in Benin, which are driven up through the country and through that border. And that is closed off since the ECOWAS sanctions have been in place. So the economic effects are already being really felt in Niger, where our sources are talking a great deal of difficulties in getting enough food, of spiralling prices, difficulties in getting medicine. But they're also starting to be felt somewhat here in Benin, where for some goods the prices are rising and they're not seeing the same deliveries through. People here are also worried about a spiral of violence which could occur if there is a military intervention, saying that they're worried that if their armed forces take part as pledged in an ECOWAS military intervention, that they could fear reprisal attacks and that the consequences of this becoming violent could make things harder for people living in countries which, for some of them, are in some of the poorest parts of the planet.
Our senior reporter, Catherine Norris-Trent, speaking to us there from Benin. Thank you very much for your update, Catherine.